To start off, I would like to talk about the productivity of employees. I believe that by monitoring my employees, they have a more strive to be more productive because they know that they are being monitored, and so that if they are dilly-dallying online or being sidetracked by social media sites, we will be seeing that. We don't usually intercept anything if it's just a few minutes on a website or just going back and forth, but if they are spending large amounts of time on non-work related material, then we do go in and say, you need to change your work ethic or we will have to go further actions. I'm not paying my employees to be on Facebook every day or tweet a friend or such actions. The second topic I'd like to talk about is creating an anti-hostile work environment. I would like to comment on what Alec said about believing monitoring can cause stress in the workplace. I respect that thought and I see how someone could think that, but I also believe that if I was monitoring my employees, they're less likely to engage in such harmful behaviors to each other, such as sexual harassment or inappropriate emails to each other. By monitoring this, I believe that they take a step back and realize that they're being watched and they can't behave this way with each other. By creating this anti-hostile work environment, they can feel free to come to work and get work done and not have to worry about others pestering them or being of annoyance to them. The third topic I'd like to talk about is employees avoiding employee fraud and misconduct. And I believe I have a certain eye towards this because I have dealt with this personally. In 2010, 3 of my employees actually leaked the iPad 2's design to accessory manufacturers before the release date. This didn't go with our contract that we had with Apple, and since that they were violating our company's security policies, we had to go in and check their email and check their internet usage, and we discovered that these 3 employees were the ones, in fact, that had released these details. And so we went in and they were arrested and are being trialed at this time. Since then, I have upped our internet monitoring just because I don't want anyone to realize that our guard is down. I believe that with just this one instance, people might realize that they can go sell our trade secrets and earn money on the side or other such behavior. And so by creating this stricter work environment, I believe that they will be more guided towards a more productive work day. So I'd like to recap real quick on what I said in the past few minutes is that by monitoring your employees, I believe that you can create a more productive work environment, an anti-hostile work environment, and avoid employee fraud or misconduct.
All right, thank you for that. At this time, I would like to thank our panelists again for their thoughts and their topics and the topic at hand. I'd also like to take this time to thank our audience who remained engaged and cooperative during the panel. And at this time, the floor will be open up for discussion. Does anyone have any further questions? Yes, Julie.
Has social media affected productivity in the workplace? This question is for Matt, by the way. Do you think that the internet monitoring has limited the use of social media?
I do believe that internet monitoring has limited the use just because employees might be more scared to go onto these websites knowing that we are watching and that they could have negative penalties towards them if doing so. There's actually a study that recently came out in Denmark, and it stated that in a population of 5 million people, of that 5 million people, 55,000 people waste at least 30 minutes on Facebook each day in the workplace, which results in a $2 billion productivity loss. And so I translated this into a US market, thinking that these numbers would be similar. And since we have roughly 3 million people, that means we roughly lose $120 billion daily with our employees going onto social media sites or on work-related sites. And as I said before, I'm not paying my employees to be on Facebook for 30 minutes or to be tweeting their friends. And so I try to create a very strict monitoring system to where that they know that they're being monitored and that they can't be sidetracked while working.
Does anyone have any further questions?
I have a question for Professor Melinda. How can employers monitor their employees within the limits of the law?
I'd like to thank you for that question. First and foremost, when you are instating internet policies, you should instate good ones that not only let the employee know how much privacy is allowed for them, but also gives the employers a level of trust for their employees to know that they're employees, for them to stay under this level. You should also notify that they may be monitored at any time, because it becomes an interesting case. Like there was a case in 1996, I believe, where it was Smith versus Pillsbury, and what had happened was Smith was suing Pillsbury for being wrongfully terminated, but Pillsbury was granted their motion to dismiss the case because Pillsbury had told their employees that they were multiple times they were never going to be monitored, but in fact they had been monitoring Smith, and what had happened was he had written in his emails that sales management was those upper bastards, and that the company holiday party was like the Kool-Aid party. And so there was the reason that Pillsbury had terminated Smith was because they did not want this bad publicity to go out. And so Smith had felt wrongfully terminated because he thought he would never be monitored. So taking this case and learning from it, you should always tell that you're being monitored. State a policy for chat room use, since you're not able to actually monitor what happens in chat rooms, especially public chat rooms that are on the internet. And also establish rules on sending and receiving email, whether it's through their work or personal email. Because if there's special rules, like had Smith not sent these emails, and if he had instead just told the friends around the Kool-Aid, or not the Kool-Aid, the cooler, the water cooler, these jokes that he believed were jokes, he may have not been terminated. But and also determine what acceptable amounts of time to be spent online, and whether if they should have personal time online as well, and whether or not they actually should be online depending on their job, whether or not they do have to be sending email or researching something or being on Facebook or Twitter depending on their job description, and what material should and should not be accessed, as well as how to download from the internet, because some people may not know that certain things should not be accessed while at work, and certain things should not be downloaded while at work because the viruses may come about, and then that will just spread to the entire IP server and destroy the system. And above all, you should document these policies and publish them and communicate the necessity of abiding by them, because if you don't tell them multiple times and reiterate and inform your employees, they may never know actually what's going on. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
And I had a question directed at Matt. Do you notify your employees that their internet is being monitored?
We do. In the hiring process, once we do decide that they are one of our employees that we would like to bring into the company, we do notify them that we are monitoring their internet history.
All right, and do you have a documented policy like stating all of that?
We do. We have a contract that everyone signs.
Does anyone? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question, Matt. You said that you will monitor if you know that there are large amounts of time being spent. How do you determine what a large amount of time is? And is it spot checking, or how do you know that?
I guess I might have misspoken. We do monitor everyone, but if we see that there's a large amount of time being spent, and we usually try to say that 30 minutes is a good portion for personal time, because I do know that employees do need a break throughout their day to just kind of get sidetracked and then refocus. If a large amount, more than 30 minutes roughly, is being spent online, then that's when we kind of go in and talk to each employee personally.
Any more questions? No? All right, well, to summarize, our panelists today collectively agreed on the significance of internet monitoring issue amongst the workforce. Matt touched on the pros contributing to increasing productivity and preventing hostility in the workforce environment, while Alec focused on the cons that include leaking personal information into the wrong hands, and Melinda discussed the legality issues that so many are unaware of right now. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out, and I hope that you've learned something new and interesting to apply to in the future. I hope you all have a good rest of the day.